Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stylebytife. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you guys. And if this is your first time here, you're welcome. Kindly please hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to draft a female pant trouser. So if you're interested in learning that, keep on watching and let's get started. So now I'm going to take this part here as my waistline, and I'm going to be having a 1.5 inches waistband. So from the waistline, I'm going to extend my tape by down 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to measure down to my hip line, which is 9 inches. After that, I'm going to measure down to my crotch line, which is 11.5 inches. To get your crotch length and how to go about it is by dividing your hip measurement by 4, and whatever you get, you're going to add extra 1.5 inches to it, and that's going to be your crotch length. Still maintaining my tape by down 1.5 inches, I'm going to measure down to my new line, which is 22 inches, and then I made a point. After that, I'm going to get my trouser length. So my trouser length is 38 inches, and what I have here on this pattern paper is 37.5 inches. So I'm going to take the whole length of this pattern paper. So I'm going to be adding extra sewing allowance to the end of this pattern when I'm placing it on my fabric. After marking all the measurements, I'm going to go ahead and rule a line across all these points. Now I'm going to go ahead and label it. These are hip line, the crotch line, the new line, and then the trouser length or the hem line. So I'm going to come down here by 3 inches, which is going to serve as the tie line. So come down by 3 inches or 4 inches, and that's going to serve as your tie line. After marking it, I'm going to go ahead and rule a line across, and this is going to be our tie line. On this hip line, I'm going to divide my hip measurement divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch for ease. So I mark that, and I'm going to go ahead and mark the same thing on the waistline and then on the crotch line. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect these 3 points together with my straight ruler. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is to get our crotch extension. And to get that, I'm going to measure from this line here to this side and divide it by 4. I'm going to divide the measurements I have in between here and divide it by 4. Whatever I got, I'm going to extend it outside the crotch line. After marking that, I'm going to go ahead and use my curve rule to connect from that point into the hip line. We are doing this just for us to get our crotch curve. Now I'm going to measure what I have on this crotch line here and divide it into 2, just for us to get the midpoint. And what I have here is 12 inches, so I'm going to divide that 12 inches by 2, will give me 6 inches. Now I'm going to be using that 6 inches to make a mark on the crotch line, on the hip line, on the waistline, on the new line, and then on the hem line. After marking all that, I'm going to go ahead and connect all these points with my straight ruler. So this straight line is going to serve as the center of all the measurements we are going to be taking. On the waistline here, I'm going to divide my waist measurement divided by 4. I'll add extra 1 inch for my dart intake and then extra ½ inch for ease. After marking it, I'm going to connect from the last point into the hip line. Coming to this tie line here, I'm going to divide my tie measurement divided by 2. My tie measurement is 23 inches, and 23 inches divided by 2 will give me 11.5 inches. So I'm going to get the midpoint of 11.5 inches. So that midpoint of 11.5 inches, I'm going to place it on this straight line here and mark it on the both sides. Now I'm going to come down to this new line here and do the same thing. My new measurement is 16 inches, and 16 inches divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So I'm going to place the midpoint of 8 inches, which is 4 inches, on this line here and mark it on the both sides. Coming to the hem line here, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing as well. My ankle measurement is 13 inches, and 13 inches divided by 2 will give me 7.5 inches. So I'm going to get the midpoint of 7.5 inches and place it on this straight line here and then mark it on the both sides. After doing that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is to connect all these points together on the both sides. Just watch what I'm doing. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to get my dart. So on this waistline I'm going to come down by 3 inches and made a mark. And on this waistline here, I'm going to go in by ½ an inch on the both sides, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect it together. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is to cut out the front pattern. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark out my pocket, and to do that, I'm going to go in by 2 inches on the waistline and then come down by 6 inches or 7 inches. But for me, I'm going to come down by 6 inches and made a mark. So you can try to create a curve or just connect it with a straight ruler. So for me, I'm just going to connect it together like this. And that's all for the front pattern. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is to draft out the back pattern. To draft the back pattern, I'm going to go ahead and place my front pattern on another fresh pattern paper. So I'm going to be leaving about 3 inches of space above the waistline. If you're on a bigger size, leave about 4 inches or 5 inches above the waistline. And I'm going to leave about 2 inches space here at the side. After doing that, I'm going to use my pin to just hold it down. So now we're going to go ahead and start taking all our measurement for the back pattern. So guys, I will measure what I have from here to here, and what I had there is almost 2.5 inches. So I will approximate it to 2.5 inches. So from this crotch line here, I'm going to go out by that 2.5 inches and made a point. On the hip line, I'm going to mark the same measurements and made a point as well. Coming to the waistline here, I'm going to go in by 2 inches and made a point. From that 2 inches point, I'm going to go up by 2 inches. If you're on a bigger size, go in by 2.5 inches and then you go up by 3 inches or 4 inches. And now to get the crotch for the back pattern, I'm going to remove the front piece and connect the 3 points together. Just connect the 3 points together with your curve rule. So this is what you're going to have after connecting the 3 points together. So now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to measure out the waist measurement I have on the front. And what I have here is 8.5 inches. So I'm going to use that 8.5 inches measurement here at the back pattern, and it has to be slanted. Measure whatever you got by slanting your tape and then you connect it with your straight ruler. After that, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to add 1 inch to all my measurements. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 inch on the both sides. Just watch what I'm doing. After you're done marking 1 inch on the both sides, I'm going to go ahead and connect it together. So this is what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pins just for us to see how the back pattern looks like. So guys, this is for the back pattern. This is how the back pattern looks like. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to get my dart intake. So I'm going to mark half of my nipple to nipple measurements, and that's 3.5 inches. And from that point, I'm going to come down by 4 inches. After marking it, I'm going to go ahead and connect it with my straight ruler. Now I'm going to mark 0.5 inch on the both sides and connect it together. So this is basically all for the back pattern. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, this is the front pattern and this is the back pattern. If you place them on top of each other, this is what we're going to have. Now guys, when you are placing your pattern on your actual fabric, you are going to add half an inch all the way around. Add 0.5 inch all the way around, except at the hemline where you're going to add 1.5 inches or 2 inches for the folding or stitching allowance. I will do the same thing on the back pattern. Add half an inch stitching allowance all the way around, and on the hemline I'm going to add 1.5 inches or 2 inches for folding. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut out my waistband, and the length of my band is 2 inches because I'm going to use half an inch for stitching allowance later. And for the width of this band, this is enough to go all the way around my waist. So guys, this is it. This is how to draft your very own female trouser. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. And if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.